Hello Lalus and Lalas. Today we will learn about one effect entries of trial balance which you will find in final account sum of partnership, and it will going to ask in 11 marks. Most of the time those who don't have conceptual clear ideas, they do zigzag pattern, means they put everything on their own method, है ना? So it is not right, beta ji, and you are always in a hurry to complete this sum. However, if you have fundamental knowledge, if you are fundamentally clear, you should attempt it first. I advise you to attempt it first and do adjustment first, then put trial balance entries fadafat so that your answer will come. Okay, so here I have listed down few entries which may feel as tricky, but if you understand it properly, it would have conceptual clear idea to make it easy to point it out, to write it down at the time of your exam. Okay, so let's understand one by one, because the board is full of entries. Now we have to understand it clearly, because I have specifically found that in these entries people or students make mistake. Okay, so let's do it today. First entry is stock. Whenever it is given you opening stock, okay, whenever it is given you opening stock, or they have given you the date in bracket, that is 1st April. So 1st April is the opening stock. It will come in trading account debit side. Second, closing stock. Closing stock can be found in adjustment as well as in trial balance. We are talking about only trial balance entries. When in trial balance closing stock is given, you will see that it would be given in debit side. That means, okay, if it is given in debit side, you have to write in asset, or if it is given in credit side. Most of the time closing stock is given in credit side. Okay, so credit side, where will you write? Trading account, credit side. Okay, beta ji? Huh? Stationery stock is written two ways. Okay, if only stationery stock is given, then you will write in balance sheet asset side. If stationery stock and stationery purchase together is given to you, then you will write in P&L account. First you will write stationery purchase in P&L account minus stationery stock. Outer column is your stationery expense. Okay, so stationery stock have two general entries. You have to see first is stationery stock alone is given, then it is asset side. Okay, and if together is given, then you have to subtract stationery stock from stationery purchase and to be written in P&L account. Clear, beta ji? Okay, moving to next. Packing material stock is also one kind of stock which is used to wrap the material or a finished good. So it is our stock, that's why it will be written in asset side. Clear? So moving to next. You will find trading expense and trading account in trial balance. Trading expense is an expense related to sales, not purchase. That's why trading expense will come in P&L account. Better I should write it down, but because of the congested space, I am speaking. So please concentrate. Trading expense, it is expense related to sales. That's why it will come in P&L debit. Trading account, if only trading account is given, and in trial balance if it is debit side, you have to consider it as gross loss. If credit side, gross profit. Okay, next, many a times to indicate purchase in trial balance, many words are used such as net cost of purchase, or adjusted purchase, or account of goods in debit side, or COGS. All four words are related to only and only purchase. So you will write all this in trading account debit side immediately after opening stock. Okay. Now moving to next. Goods return. Also goods return, goods return. So there are three variations here. If goods return simple is written, only simple goods return is written, okay? Goods return is written, but returned coming back. Goods returned is given in trial balance. Then, if it is in debit side, okay, goods return simply is given to you, and there two amounts is given in debit side and credit side. This debit side pertaining amount is your sales return, and this credit side pertaining amount is your purchase return. Okay, beta? So your natural argument would be, sir, then why you have written here credit and SR? Here you are explaining credit and purchase return. Then why you have written credit and SR? Beta ji, goods returned if only is returned or given and concentrate on debit side. What you are doing in sales return? What you are doing in sales return? What you are doing? Please check it here. Hai? So this is trading account. Okay, this is trading account. I am writing little bit bigger so that you will understand. Okay. Now, so here you will write purchase. Here you will write sales. Okay. Where is sales? Credit side. What is the opposite of credit? Debit. है ना? So when goods return only is given, goods returned. Which side shall I take to subtract from here? Opposite of credit. That means of debit side value. And same way here also goods returned. If it is in debit side purchase, what is opposite to debit side? Credit side. So the credit side of goods return is purchase return. Okay, beta ji, you have understood? Now, if they have written with the whole phrase, goods return credit, whole phrase, goods return credit, okay, so there you need to understand that it will come at credit side. Simple, it will come at credit side. Okay, it will come at credit side means it is sales return, and goods return debit. If it is return, then you have to understand that this will come in debit. Clear? Understood? Chalo. Now, if you have any sort of query, please comment. I will justify as soon as possible. Now, carriage inward and carriage outward. Carriage means transportation charges. Okay. When you take inward means when you purchase, it is purchase related expense, and all the purchase related expense is recorded in trading account. So we have understood this. Okay, trading account debit side. Carriage outward means it is for sales, and sales related expense, as we have seen in trading expense, we have written this in P&L debit. Same way sales related expense we will written in P&L debit side. Another most important entry. When machine amount and depreciation on machine both is given in a trial balance. Please understand. When machine amount and depreciation on machine account is given immediately one after another. Immediately one after another is given. Then you need to record both of them in asset side of balance sheet. This depreciation was wrongly calculated. You will definitely find any adjustment related to this when this together is given to you. So you will do in asset side machine plus depreciation on machine. You will write it down. However, however, if a loan depreciation machine is given, if a loan depreciation machine is given, then of course you will write it in P&L debit side. Okay? And sale of machinery is written from asset side, but you have to subtract. Okay, it is given in credit side, but please you have to subtract the sale of machine from the machine account in asset side. Okay beta ji. Now moving further, cash. Okay, moving further, cash, you know cash balance always have debit side. We know it from our standard 11. Okay, so cash balance always have debit balance, that is receipt side. Okay, so cash will be written in asset side. However, bank balance is given in both the sides. Sometimes it is given in debit side, sometimes it is given in credit side. If bank balance is given on debit side, you have to treat this in asset side. But whenever bank balance only phrase is written and you have been given on credit side, you have to understand that it is not bank balance, it is your bank overdraft. And bank overdraft is your liability. That's why you will write in liability side. Clear, beta ji? Okay. Next, receivable, payable. Bills receivable, bills payable. Receivable means you have to receive. Okay, on later date. So on later date means you have given on credit. You have given in credit means they are your debtors, and that's why it is written on asset side. And payable means you need to pay, means they are your creditors. That's why you have to write in liability side. Okay. Next is BD, BDR and BD return. Okay. Now what do you mean by BD? BD means bad debt. Whenever any debtor who has not paid you, that debtor amount is converted as bad debt, and bad debt is your loss. So loss will be written in profit and loss debit side. When BDR is given to you, means along with bad debt and BDR, BDR means bad debt reserve is given to you, means the reserve which we have kept aside, assuming that this much particular amount will go for bad debt. So that reserve we have to also subtract from bad debt. So there is a TAT table. Somebody says TAT table, somebody says new old, new old. So let's have that table formula. Okay, so you have to write BD, then BDR minus BDR. That means you have to subtract the bad debt reserve of trial balance from bad debt in P&L account. Clear, beta ji? Now, what do you mean by bad debt return? Bad debt return is an amount which you get from already a return of customer. Means those who have done bad debt and we have not assumed any course of time that we will get money and we have closed down his account, we will get a certain sum. It is your benefit because you have closed down the account considering it already as bad debt. So whatever amount which you get from the return of customer or a debtor, okay, uh, with outstanding of bad debt, the amount is called as bad debt return and it is your income. That's why Bituji, it is written in P&L credit side. Clear, Lalu? Clear, Bituji? Now let's go to loan. Now what is loan? Loan is one kind of borrowing or a lending given to a person or taken from a person. Now, if loan word is given to you and if it is written on credit side or a debit side, you need to check it first. If along with loan, if it is written loan to XYZ or loan by XYZ, there also you need to be careful. Loan is written whatever loan it is written, let's say mortgage loan, bank loan, or a simple loan, if it is written and it is given on credit side, that means it is your liability. You have taken loan, so you will write it in that is capital plus liability balance sheet. And if it is written in debit side, then it is your asset, because you have provided loan to your either employee or to somebody else. Okay, so it is your asset, so you will write in asset side of balance sheet. Similar concept, if loan to XYZ is written, then it is your asset, and loan by XYZ it is written, then it is your liability. Clear, Lalu? Everything is clear here? Now, let's go little bit clumsy, I know, but it is important to cover it in a single video, in a single board. That's why I have written like this. Capital account and current account. Capital account and current account comes in which capital method, which I have told you? Fluctuating or fixed? Fixed capital method. Absolutely correct, beta. In fixed capital method, those who are adopting fixed capital method, they need to make two accounts, that is capital account and current account. So in final account sum, if in trial balance both the account is given to you, then situation number 1, the capital account is written in balance sheet capital plus liability side, and current account based on credit side or debit side, the balance is written in balance brought down, okay, in capital account, partners capital account. Okay, many students get confused, current account, sir, why we need to write in partners capital account? Because it is fixed capital based method. There the capital is already fixed, the fluctuating capital is written here, okay, in current account. And fluctuating capital method, only one account is made, so only one account is given in that sum, and you will write it down, capital account debit side or credit side, as a balance brought down. Understood? Moving to next is debtors and creditors. The debtors are oftenly written as customer or receivable. The receivable and bills receivable has a difference. Bills, this is talking about bills of exchange. This is just talking about receivable. Okay, so debtor is also known as customer or receivable. So debtors will be written in asset side, and creditors are also known as supplier or payable, which is written in liability side. Now, weighing machine and weighing charges. Weighing machine is your dead stock. It is your asset. That's why it would be written in asset side of balance sheet, and weighing charges is your charges which is levied at the time of loading the goods. So this would be written in trading account debit side. Moving to the important and little bit tricky, provident fund. Now there are three situations given here, Bitaji. Please be careful here. Provident fund, investment on provident fund, and contribution to provident fund is given. So if only and only provident fund is given, check, it would always be written on credit side. So provident fund will come in capital plus liability side of balance sheet. If it is written investment, obviously investment is your asset, so it would be written on debit side of trial balance, so it will go in asset side. Okay, investment on provident fund will go on asset side, and provident fund alone will go on liability side. Now the third is contribution to PF, means you have contributed, you have done expense, and that would come in, expense will come in, this is indirect expense, so it will come in P&L debit side. Clear, beta J? Understood? Little further to it is wages and salary, salary and wages, production wages. Now wages comes in trading account debit side, you know. Why? Because it is related to production. However, if it is written with salary, it would have little changes. You have to concentrate on the first word which is written. Wages is written, so it is written in trading account debit side. If salary is written, P&L debit side. If productive is written, trading account debit side. Clear, everybody? Now, moving to next is, I know that interest on capital account, current account and drawing is given generally in adjustment. However, there are few sums in your textbook which consist of interest on capital, current and drawing account in trial balance. So all the entries pertaining to it will go beta in P&L appropriation account. Clear? Okay. Now, P&L account simply written like trading account. Debit side, credit side. I have explained you when trading account is written, debit side means gross loss, credit side means gross profit. Same way, if it is written debit side, it is net loss. If it is written credit side, it is net profit. Clear? But why I have written here net loss and net profit? So I will tell you this first in connection with it. Net loss and net profit, whenever directly written in your trial balance, you have to read Katha. What do you mean by Katha? Information. It is written somewhere that the untrained personnel has made this account. You need to rectify. So while doing rectification, you need not to write net profit or net loss anywhere, although it is given in trial balance. Clearly better understood? This P&L debit and credit is net loss and net profit which you need to write. However, if directly net loss and net profit is given, गड़बड़ है गया. Okay, so you need to check it. Clear, Lalus? Okay. Now next is accrued or receivable income. What do you mean by receivable income? Receivable means the income is yet to receive. Equivalent as accrued. Synonym is accrued. So it is your income, but it is remaining to get. That's why it will come in asset side. And the income which is already received is written in P&L credit side. Again, important concept. Suspense account. Suspense. Whenever any suspense account is given in your trial balance, you have to understand blindfoldedly that it will have adjustment related to that account, because when suspense account is created, suspense account is created on temporary basis to close that particular account while matching trial balance. So this suspense account needs to rectify by getting adjustment. So it is also like net profit or net loss. It is also not to be written anywhere in your final accounts. Clear? Moving to next. Depreciation on factory or any expense related to factory is written on trading account debit side. Sundry expense P&L account debit side. Now prepaid expense, like we have seen receivable or accrued. This is prepaid. So we have paid in advance. That's why it is our asset. So prepaid expense is our asset. Outstanding expense is our liability. So we will write in liability side of balance sheet. Moving towards next, discount reserve. Same I have explained to you in BDR. Okay. However, same table, 80. Same table applies. If only discount allowed is given, okay, you need to write in P&L debit. But along with discount allowed, discount reserve is given. There you will subtract discount reserve from discount allowed. Okay. Twist. If alone discount reserve is given, alone discount reserve is given, then you have to check whether it is given on debit side or credit side. Obviously it would be credit because it is reserve. And if it is written in credit side and there is no transaction or no adjustment of anything related to discount given in either trial balance or in adjustment, then this alone amount or a particular of discount reserve is written in P&L credit side. Clear, Lalo? Next, general reserve. Okay, this general reserve is a reserve which you have created for various purposes. Okay, and it would be your accumulated thing. That's why it would be written in separately written in capital plus liability side. Earlier in sole proprietorship it was added. However, here in partnership it is written specifically. Okay, in capital plus liability side. Now, what do you mean by Mahajan Lago? Mahajan is a Gujarati word which means association, and Lago is also a Gujarati word which says annual fee or a charge. So, Mahajan Lago means annual charges of particular association. Let's say if I am a businessman of a clothes, so I am a member of clothes association, so I need to pay every year a charge to remain in that particular association, to be registered in that particular association. Okay, so that yearly charges which I pay is known as Mahajan Lago, and Mahajan Lago is related to your business, is related to your trading, is your direct expense. That's why it will written in trading account debit side. Clear, Beta Ji? Going to next, damage. Damage is little bit understood, but damage little bit pronounced as damage. So we have to understand that it is our additional expense or loss. However, the clarity needs to be given here. Whenever you do import of goods, okay, there is a big container yard where your container is placed, okay, and you have been given a certain date or a certain time where you need to release that particular container. Means you need to take the goods of that particular container to your factory. Because there are huge import and export business going on, right? If you get delay in that particular import to take it to your factory, okay, they may also have to feel congested there, so they will take a charge for delay of getting your goods uplifted from there. So that is known as demurrage. And because it is related to import, because it is related to purchase, that's why it will come in trading account debit side. Now, sale of old newspaper. Obviously, it is indirect income, so P&L credit. Sale of scrap. Scrap is a amount which is scrap is a thing which we get remaining of a finished products. So scrap will be written in trading account credit side. Goods drawn for personal use. So what is the use for giving this? But mind where when it is given in credit side, you generally know that it is written in debit side. Goods withdrawn. So it is your drawing. It is your drawing. You will simply write in drawing, partner's drawing account. And that means partner's capital debit side. But what if it is given in credit side? Goods drawn for a personal use. So whenever goods drawn for personal use is given on credit side, you have to subtract it from purchase in trading account debit side. Okay, if you do subtraction from debit side, it is credit side, so opposite. Okay, so purchase minus goods drawn for personal use. Okay, if it is given in credit side. Again, goods distributed sample given in credit side. Generally, sir, good distributed, that means advertisement expense, we will write in P&L debit. But look carefully, it is given in credit side. So whenever if goods distributed as sample is given on credit side, you have to again write in subtraction form from purchase trading account debit side. So purchase minus goods drawn for personal use if it is in credit side, purchase minus goods distributed sample if it is in credit side. I hope you have understood major trial balance entries which is little bit in tricky nature and I have justified. If you still require many more entries to understand, just comment. I would be happy to reply. Thank you very much. Have a nice day, Lalus and Lalas. Bye bye.